Critical analysis of performance of institutions. Although the four designated investigating and prosecuting agencies are working in their respective ambit under the AMLA, each agency is confined within a narrow scope of jurisdiction. By following the international standards set by other countries, it can be stated that the formation of a joint task force or one specialized agency is indeed required in order to tackle these offenses more effectively. This task force should consist of different stakeholders and regulatory authorities, i.e., customs, FIU, investigating agency, or police, as all are intrinsically linked to each other. Money laundering and terrorism financing. All the money that terrorists receive is actually laundered money because it is kept hidden, and neither its original source nor its destination is revealed to the government by the financiers. Hiding the source and channels of money is essential for terrorists to continue financing their activities without being traced by local law enforcement agencies. Hence, money laundering goes hand in hand with terrorist activities. Terrorists require money to finance their activities. The sponsorship is provided by their patrons, who are usually found to be money launderers, drug traffickers, and sometimes politicians and the elite of society who support them in a disguised manner. Nonetheless, funding from foreign anti-state elements overshadows all other sources of terrorist funding, which establishes the pathways of money laundering. Terrorist organizations have been found to be involved in money laundering. This has been particularly true in Pakistan, where foreign intelligence agencies, namely RAW, Mossad, and the CIA, have been found to be involved with terrorists and to have financed anti-state elements. For instance, the recent arrest of an Indian Army intelligence officer, Kalbhushan Yadav, who was found to be commanding a strong terrorist network in Pakistan, is a clear instance of the Indian Army RAW's involvement in funding anti-state terrorist activities. These activities were pursued by Kalbhushan Yadav's network in different areas of Pakistan, particularly Quetta and Karachi. Financial Action Task Force, FATF. In response to mounting concern over money laundering, the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, on money laundering was established by the G7 summit in Paris in 1989 to develop a coordinated international response. One of the first tasks of the FATF was to develop recommendations, 40 in all, which set out the measures national governments should take to implement effective anti-money laundering programs. The FATF recommends that countries should criminalize terrorist financing on the basis of the Terrorist Financing Convention and criminalize not only the financing of terrorist acts, but also the financing of terrorist organizations and individual terrorists, even in the absence of a link to a specific terrorist act or acts. Countries should ensure that such offenses are designated as money laundering predicate offenses. The FATF is a policymaking body and has no investigative authority. In respect to investigating a company and persons involved in money laundering, individuals need to contact their local investigative authorities. Till January 2020, 39 countries were members of FATF. The main purpose of FATF is to devise an intergovernmental response for curbing money laundering. However, in October 2001, after 9/11, it took on another essential goal of combating the financing of terrorism. It creates policies and strategies and gives advice to governments for anti-money laundering and combating financing terrorism laws and policy reforms. It can also suggest financial sanctions against countries that do not obey international regulations and policies. FATF and Pakistan. Pakistan is currently being monitored at 3 different but interlinked levels: APG, the United States, and the FATF. That would determine the country's possible exit from the FATF gray list. FATF has formulated a wide range of recommendations for fighting money laundering and terrorist financing. The guidelines of FATF are considered binding upon its member countries. Recommendation 27 urges member countries to empower and facilitate investigating authorities in combating money laundering as well as terrorist financing. Money laundering is a complex type of white-collar crime. It has far-reaching negative effects upon the economy of any country. FATF, being a watchdog of government's financial activities to track any misappropriation related to money laundering regulations, included Pakistan in its gray list in June 2018. The global standards set by the international community concerning the curbing of money laundering are also converse to the AMLA 2010. The first two recommendations by the FATF deal with the extent of money laundering crime. These suggestions urge member countries to criminalize money laundering crime according to the international guidelines discussed in the various instruments of the United Nations.